Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below, your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see here on Watchbox Reviews or our website, thewatchbox.com. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com. And today, we're talking about the one-year-only 2019 Journe Chronometre A Resonance, sometimes known as the 1224, with both 24-hour and 12-hour independently settable but resonance synchronized dials. This is a 40mm rose gold special watch designed to mark effectively the last year of the original Resonance line, sometimes known as the Resonance 4. It paved the way for 2020 and the 20th anniversary of the model. The timepiece, as you can see, is relatively slender, as in profile it's only 9mm thick, and from lug to lug, 48mm with a 20mm spacing between the lugs. Let's take a quick look at how the watch appears on my wrist, 16 centimeters in circumference. Journe watches traditionally have been thin, flat, flush, and comfortable, with sharply downturned lug profiles that are short cropped and easy to accommodate on almost any wrist size. For that reason, I can recommend this 40mm watch for a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference, and note that it will easily slide underneath the cuff. Let's take a quick look at the hardware and the software of this watch, featuring a strap which is black with large rectangular scale alligator leather, semi-gloss, monotone stitch. You can see in profile a folded edge and double alligator, as Journe uses small scale on the bottom and large rectangular on the top, the result being a more durable, longer lasting, albeit slightly more expensive strap, but why pinch pennies with a watch this fine? Note the use of pull tab spring bars on the underside so you can easily remove the strap without resorting to tools. There is a simple rose gold pin buckle to match for quick on the fly adjustments. Note there's a little recess for the pin inside the buckle. Beautiful attention to detail. The case band is typical Journe, meaning you have an overlapping lip for the case back as well as the bezel, forming a mid-case profile, framing the mid-case really, including integrated Calatrava or Portugueser style lugs, depending on which watch you consider to be the originator of the style. There is a bullhead style crown, which is used for setting the two time zones and winding them both, and then there is a flyback trigger down at 4 o'clock. We'll talk about that more in a moment. You can see the bezel is domed in profile. The crowns, both the trigger and the bullhead, feature the double dimple external face and the knurled profile, typical of Journe crowns. The dial is handsome rose gold and media blasted with a matte finish. It surrounds two black polished stainless steel individual bezels for separate time displays. Now, one moves in 24-hour circuits to better alert you to the time where you are not. Friends, family, business associates, a favorite distant sporting event. You can see in 24-hour format what's going on. In 12-hour format, that's the time where you are now. Of course, you can synchronize them to run the same, and one will effectively act as an AM, PM indicator for the other. Power reserve indicator up 12 o'clock. Traditionally 40 to 42 hours is the power reserve quoted for these watches. You'll also note the dial side bolts that actually hold the dial to the base plate. So that's a distinctive feature of FP Journe watches that has been on his wristwatches since he started building under the Montre Journe label back in the late 90s. Controversial at first, today almost everyone copies that dial side bolt design. Now you can see the movement is gorgeous. This is caliber 1499.3, the third version of the caliber that is 14 lean in diameter and on which work was started in 1999. 6-position adjustment, 40 joules, 42-hour power reserve times 2. 2 balances, independent, beating away at 21,600 vibrations per hour, each adjusted in 6 positions, and free sprung for durability. You'll note that there are 2 barrels, 2 drivetrains, 2 escapements, 2 balances, meaning there are basically 2 movements in this watch, and they operate independently. There is no mechanical connection between them. But in pursuit of essentially a clock phenomenon, Journe, starting in the early 80s, began researching the use of the anti-Janvier resonance phenomenon from clocks in a watch. First, he started with a pocket watch. That didn't work, but in the late 90s, he finally got it to function as intended. As with a metronome or pendulum clocks placed in proximity, when properly adjusted, the resonance chronometer wristwatch will synchronize the balances without any physical contact or mechanical coupling between them. It takes about 7 to 10 minutes for the effect to fully gain purchase on the watch. So that is why the seconds hands are not synchronized, but by pulling the flyback trigger down at 4 o'clock. Once resonance occurs, you can synchronize the seconds. When one balance speeds up in a certain position or because of a bump, knock, or concussion to the watch, you will find that the other balance will slow or speed it as necessary, so they are self-regulating. Once properly adjusted in their 6 positions, they will resist any kind of timing deviation by virtue of their resonance coupling. A remarkable watch, 30 meters water resistant, and a 1-year production piece from FP Journe, which builds over a dozen individual models and only 900 pieces total per year, so exclusivity of this model within the context of that production is assured. Also note, on the dial side, all printing of the dials used is dark royal blue, a special feature reserved to this model. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.